G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 25 of my Beginner's Fire Pets Cabalist playthrough. In between the episodes, I went and did a little bit of farming. You'll notice the XP bar has moved just a smidge from the last episode, and I found myself one of these. Now, the affixes on this are, I'm not going to say they're useless, but they're not the best. They could definitely be a lot better. Mystic is a bunch of spirit, and of the boar is a bunch of physique, and I think the flat spirit is also from of the boar. So stats are definitely okay. They're not a bad thing to have, but I would be much happier if this was cage souls or something pet related. Taskmasters perhaps get a little more resistance, or even of the wild for some elemental resistance for the pets. Though we do have some there anyway. Okay, so I want to swap this in, and it's going to mess with my resistances. So I've crafted some other things in order to balance my resistances. Now, I haven't actually sat down and worked out exactly what I need to do to balance my resistances. So there's going to be a little bit of trial and error here. But one thing I do know is I want to keep the prismatic diamond. Now, the difference between these two helmets is 28% vitality resistance. And I'm only 7% over the cap at the moment. So I know I'm going to need some additional vitality resistance. So that's why I've made these sanctified bones, because this silk swatch is not something I need, because both my piercing and my bleeding are way over the cap. So let's go ahead and swap this in. And then another thing I want to point out is this Houndmaster's Fleshworks archive also has a useless suffix, same as the first one I'm using at the moment. But this one just has bigger numbers on it, just pretty much across the board. +7 and +4 instead of +6 and +3 for the skill points. So this is basically an extra level worth of skill points. Also got additional attack speed for the pets, additional slow resistance, additional more damage. It is just number go up. So we will be swapping that in. Right, now that that's done, my resistances are all still fine except for vitality. So what we're going to do, like I mentioned, I do want to keep the prismatic diamond. So actually I should have only crafted one of those, because I won't be using one on my helmet rather. So let's go ahead and get the prismatic diamond, because like I said, I already know I want to keep this. I want my circuit breaker, and it does come with 15% vitality resist, which is not quite 18%, but it's still pretty good. So we've got that. Now, I need, 21%, so technically speaking, I do need both of these. Do I have an augment? I do not. Okay. Let's chuck that on there. I do need, technically, to use 2 of these, but, well, we'll see. I don't want the silk swatch, and I want to keep the item here as well. So, we can chuck that one on there. Scaled hide on the shoulders, and we are not quite we're not quite there. Once I get level what's that, level 90, 4 more levels, I will be back to everything capped, because that's an extra 20 odd % for vitality and aether, and then this one is about 15% for chaos and elemental, and then my other resistances are hugely overcapped. So especially once I push Blood of Dreeg, just casually 131% over the maximum. So we're looking pretty good, but I will need 4 levels in order to completely fix this. Right, I'm going to run with 3% less vitality resistance than I should have, and the reason I'm going to do that is because we're in a city full of ethereals who don't generally do vitality damage at all, and although I may occasionally run into a hero that does some vitality damage, 3% below the cap is not a crippling weakness. Also, I'm like 3 levels and a handful of kills away from being able to fix that, so I'm not terribly worried about it. And we have some things to do up here. Right, so the Crown Hill Rift, let's head on over and let's get started. Now, usually I'll come up here and get the first vent and whatever. Actually, you know what? Let's just do it the usual way. Let's make it easy. So my usual method is to come up this way. Also, this building here, if you're farming for a helmet, this is another good place to farm for it. I actually farmed this one by killing the... Actually, before we do this, let me show you what I did. Because this is actually something that is important. Because these helmets are as rare as rock and horse shit. Sorry, hen's teeth. As rare as hen's teeth. So what I would do is I would come out here. You can see I've already cleared this section. Summon my pets in town. I would come over here. I hate these little things. I would kill the group in here, and you would get somewhere between 0 and 2 heroes right here. Often it's 0. Mostly it's 1. And then occasionally I've got 2 heroes there. Then I would run up here, and there'll be a handful of them here as well. And I would kill those, and then I would reset and go back to the menu. I figured, yes, there are some down here. Occasionally there'll be some in this building. There's always some in here. You can see I've already killed them. But it sort of seems like it's not worth the run time. Because you have to run all the way down here. Ooh, that was worth it. Yeah, you have to run all the way down here, and it's just extra time. The heroes that spawn here have a much higher chance of dropping. So I have tended to just kill them, run up the stairs, kill the other group, and leave. The ones up the stairs, I never saw a hero there, but I did occasionally see some of the champions, I think they are, with the yellow names, which have a somewhat decent chance to drop. So they can be worth farming as well. If you're interested in grinding XP, then just do this loop in Crown Hill. Just go for a big loop around, kill all the mages, and reset and do it again. You'll get a bunch of XP. You'll get pretty good reputation. And hang on, let's just send the boys over there. You'll get pretty good reputation, and eventually, I mean, this group here could drop me a nice shiny new hat with vitality resistance, please. It's very unlikely, but the yellow named ones do have a higher chance to drop them. Also interesting to note that I had, I think, 3 or 4 of the... Is it the hood? Yeah, the Ascendant hood. I dropped a few of those before I managed to get 1 cowl. So I don't know if they have the same sort of rarity and I just kind of got unlucky. But whatever ended up happening, I had a few of those before I got the pet one. Okay, this is usually where I stop and I go back to the rift. And now we can go get the other 2 vents and just pretty much walk straight into the Fleshworks. So this is my preferred way of doing it. There are other ways, and I'm sure they all work, but this is how I do it. Yeah, I definitely need to be not getting punched in the face here. The Aether goop on the ground is kind of annoying. To say as I run straight into the Aether goop on the ground. Oh, that was poison. Okay, 156% over cap. I think I'm okay for poison. I am going to wait for that to go away though, because my health bar was dropping a lot. There's probably more than 1 poison pool on the ground there. And unfortunately, this is kind of how this build performs at higher level. The summoner itself is a little bit squishy, and the pets are fairly tanky. This would be interesting if we weren't using our main hand for conversion. Getting the extra Devourers to come out, and they will be summoned pretty much on cooldown, because they have 50% chance on attack, and each person or each enemy we have Bloody Pox and Curse of Frailty on get or count as a separate attack every second. That will spawn pretty much on cooldown, but we need the offhand, or sorry, the main hand for the conversion. And the... Actually, we could maybe look at dual wielding. I don't think it's worth it for the dual wielding, especially since these are chaos pets. Two-thirds of their damage is chaos, so not the best, but still pretty good pets. Not a bad offhand if you wanted to do chaos damage, which you need level 94 stuff to do, but hey, it's an option, right? Okay, don't need the Devotion Shrine. And something that's a little bit rippy is coming up here. Valexteria, if you Valexteria is basically mini Alexander, I'm going to call her, because that meteor really, really hurts. Okay, I think I've run out of healing buttons here. I do still have my potion, which is nice. Yeah, you definitely want to be careful of Valexteria. And she has this annoying habit of just running down. Like, she'll aggro from us hitting one of those guys and just run down in the middle of a fight, and then all of a sudden it's raining meteors and you didn't even know she was active yet. So do keep an eye on it. Definitely don't open your skill page and start looking at things to put skill points into while you're standing here. That would be a terrible idea. And I think we've probably just maxed out the Hellhound at this point. Yeah, definitely don't do that. It's generally a bad idea to spend any skill points or attribute points, or especially devotion points, when you're not in town. However, no one's going back to town to spend 2 skill points. It's just not happening. So, even though I don't recommend it, I do understand. Alright, we have got nothing good there. 87, we should start seeing level 94 legendaries, I think. It's 84 legendaries. Maybe it's not quite there. What have we got? Yeah, we've got some level 94 enemies, so at least in theory, I should be able to get level 94 drops now. There's level 94 epic. Let's not stand in the goop. And oh, okay, Runebound Topaz. Runebound Topaz is a pretty good ring component. I used to use these a lot, and then I discovered Bloodied Crystals, and I think armor got buffed at some point as well. But these are really good if you need stun resistance and just general tankiness. So definitely a good one to have. What do we got? Wraithbound. It's a weapon, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. I'm just looking for pet affixes at the moment. I think my resistances, once I get to 90, my resistances are going to be amazing. So I can probably afford to even lose an item or two that provides resistances in order to get some more damage. Valexteria is still there. Let's run the boys in right next to her and give them all the buffs. And then I'm going to, as soon as I see the Sunder, I'm going to evade out. And of course she's getting healed, because obviously. Okay, so same deal. I think that one was targeted at me, which is incredibly rude. She has sundered all my pets, killed a bunch of skellies. Let's take her out. There we go. All right, and everybody finishes the fight sundered. No one's dead though, which is what we want. In terms of loot, this is a really good ring set, but not for this build. Although we are fire damage, we are pet fire damage, so we can't really buff that too effectively. None of that looks particularly good, so let's just pick up all of the bits and be on our way. Another good place to go if you're farming mages is just over here. You'll often find a hero mage up here. Torexteria, is it? I forget the name. But you'll get these ones as well. So there's mages on this platform. There's mages over here. Actually, I think Torexteria might be a bounty that you have to have active. So if you get the bounty, this is one of the spawn locations for Torexteria. I think it's Torexteria. The other one is just here. So in this building right here, you can find it there. You can find it here. Here, pretty much where I'm standing, is another spot. I think there's one other. But farming Torexteria can be a good way to get the helmet as well. I can't remember if I covered this back in normal when I did it the first time, but just in case, that's a good spot to get them. The main reason that I wanted to update the helmet here as well is that armor. It was literally double plus 10 of my old helmet's armor, so getting more armor on that, especially because I had a huge hole in my helmet. A hole in my head, you might say. And now it's shoulders and chest that need replacing. So, why is that not... Oh, I'm frozen. Why can't I use Blood of Dreek? It's because you're a popsicle. Alright, so if we go over here now and get this last vent, then we'll be able to walk straight into the factory and we'll go kill Theodin. I didn't attack that, but sure, it's dead. I think probably the pets were attacking this and it spawned a little aether puddle underneath the vent. Regardless though, it's dead and hey, I can just go straight in. Now, if I had just come this way, I would still have to go get this one, so I would probably drop a rift here and walk through there. Kill this, walk back down to the actual rift, and then teleport back. That's how I used to do it. Now I just do what I did there. Seems to be a little more effective, in my not so very humble opinion. Okay, so the infestation here. There is a decent amount of hidden loot in here. I'm probably going to avoid most of it, or maybe not avoid, might be the wrong way of saying it. But I'm not going to go looking for it. If there's any along the way, I'll show it. But I know there is a lot of stuff sort of over here, like over here-ish, and I'm planning on going up this way, so you're not going to see most of that stuff. If you do want to see where the hidden loot is, grimtools.com/map, and then come in here and look for any kind of hidden chests, hidden spoils, or hidden corpses and such that are not in the actual borders of the map. And that's going to be your hidden loot. And it's not actually hidden spoils in here, it's something else. They're little flesh sacks. So you're going to find those. You'll see what they are if you ever go and look it up. And actually, if you wait 2 minutes, I'll show you this one. It's not that far off the beaten path. Alright, another devotion shrine. I think this one's a fight, so I might head up there. I do like free loot. Yeah, that's a fight. Excellent. Right, just clear the area a bit. And maybe clear to the south a little bit as well. Actually, that looks fine. Alright, let's pop it. Alright, we've got this arcane guy at the back. I'm turning the loot off so I can see what's going on. And I'm just going to sick the boys on him. All of them. And then back myself off. Alright, I didn't hear the noise that he was throwing the dispel ball at me, so I don't know if we managed to kill him fast enough or what, but I didn't see my buffs disappear. I didn't see the massive purple ball get fired at me, and I didn't hear that horrible noise that it makes either. Okay, give me the loot. And just under here, and then we go around the corner here. Now you'll probably see the wall here pop. Actually, you might not be able to see it since it's behind this wall again now. But if we go in here, we can stab the wall. And here is a hidden Fleshworks spoils. That's what they're called. Alright, so you get these once only. You pop it, you grab your loot. You're not guaranteed a purple. Just so that's clear. You're not going to find a purple in every one of those. But yeah, you go and pop that, and you get your loot, and on you go. Okay, the living flesh door here, locked by the ethereals. I think I can do this quest now. I'm almost certain I can. We're about to find out either way. If we go back here to the coven, is it Sister Riga? Riga, something like that? I forget her name. Rugia? Yeah, Sia Rugia. Okay. Yeah, lay on the crazy and I will seek it out. So, she's basically sensing the ethereal that was in possession of our body at the beginning of the game in the cutscene that I skipped. And we're about to go and stab it in the face with a skeleton. So now the door will open because we have the quest, and we can go on in. Now there is a decent amount of trash in here, so we are going to have to kill that. Not the end of the world by any means. Okay, and I'm pretty sure Illustria here. I'm 99% sure she wants a chat. Yeah, yep, good. So you can clear the area out, and then tell her she's been very naughty and you're killing her or whatnot. Don't forget the loot, it's very important. Alright, so we can get all of the boys to stack up on her and then attack. And we push all of the buttons. Now, she's got 2 forms, so you kill her once and then she comes back to life as a ghost. And you kill that as well. Actually, I'm going to go stand behind the pole just in case. And we get a skill point, which is pretty good. I really want to put... You know what? I'm going to put 1 more point in Curse of Frailty. Going from 3 meter radius to 3.8 doesn't sound like much, but it's radius, not diameter, so it's both sides of the circle. It's a huge increase. I might even put 1 more additional point in there at some point. For now, though, let's head out of here and get back on the killing Theodin bandwagon. Yeah, let's go get the other free loot here. Again, the hidden Fleshworks spoils is only available once per difficulty per character. These mages are always here. That hurt. There's sometimes a hero mage here as well. But this is far too long to get to. Like you got to run through all this rubbish and kill a whole bunch of trash. This is where we enter for this piece of hidden loot as well. So I don't recommend farming these guys. If you happen to be here, cool, kill them. But don't come all the way over here for a handful of mages. Also, if you go up that way, there's another hidden loot. Actually, it's just here, isn't it? Yeah. And we can take care of these guys as well. Lovely. Where is... I'm standing in goop there. I'm still taking damage. Oh, okay. I was on fire. Very unfortunate. Definitely standing in goop here. Taskmaster's a frostbite. Maybe. Frostbite is basically worthless, but... Yeah, I don't think we need the Aether and Chaos res for the pets. I'm pretty sure they're all capped. Aether's not quite, actually, in Chaos. But I do have Mender's Powder, another Mender's Powder. Yeah, so if I had to take off a Mender's Powder for, say I was playing a Ritualist and I needed poison and acid resist for the pets because I don't have Blood of Dreeg, then Silvaria's Essence, I think it is, has poison resistance for the pets, and it is a ring or amulet augment. So if I was taking one of these off for that, then I would very strongly be looking for a Taskmaster's prefix. This build just gets a bunch of resistances for free, just from being a Cabalist. Okay, so this is the easier of the 2 actually dangerous fights remaining for this character before I finish the campaign. Not Hagelvar, I'm talking about Theodin. Theodin is probably the second hardest fight in Ultimate, in my opinion. The hardest being Korvac, who actually killed my last character. But we're not up to Korvac yet. And I think actually Korvac with pets is going to be maybe even a little bit easier. There's a lot more environmental damage in Theodin, I think. Krieg will kill anyway, just because he's here, and because he's worth XP and loot and quests. Alright, so we just blow him up. Shouldn't be too hard. As long as the pets stay focused on him, and don't worry too much about all these little wormy things. Potentially, you could get the Krieg's set pieces from him. And we are now revered with the Malmouth resistance. Now, if you're playing along, and if this is your very first hardcore character, the first thing you want to do when you see the words revered with Malmouth is leave whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of fighting a boss. Don't care. Get back to town, talk to the quartermaster here, and buy yourself a bunch of these. I would say if this is your first character, probably buy a stack of like 40 or 50 of these, and go and put them in your shared stash immediately. I'm going to buy 8, because I'm going to use them on this character. If you are... what are we doing here? If this is your first character and you're playing along, you definitely want to have some of this stuff. There we go. level 94 mythical legendaries. You want to have some of this stuff in your stash, because at some point your character is going to die and you'll have to level another one. I mean, or go play something else, I guess. But you want to have XP pots ready to go. And now that you are revered with the city of Malmouth, you can buy those. They are expensive. They're what, 40,000, I think? Yeah, 40,000 iron bits each. But they will make the leveling process on your next character much, much faster. How much faster, you say? Well, you get 100% additional experience gained, so double. You will level twice as fast with this. You can also grab the Leovinus ring. You can also go and craft yourself. I'm pretty sure I've got these. Yep, the Explorer's tunic and trousers, and just craft. Honestly, it doesn't really matter, but craft one of each of these and then two of whatever you prefer. So you would go, say, 3 tunics and a pair of trousers, and then you would use the inventor to transmute your duplicate trousers into the helmet and boots. And then you would have the whole set. That would give you another 20% XP. If you happen to have the... I probably should have killed that before I riffed it out. If you have the low set, that's another good one to use. Right, so I've already blown these up actually, so I don't know what I was talking about there. I've already done it. And we have one more hero to find before we get to Theodin. Now, I've only got one resistance that isn't capped, so I might even go and find myself a vitality resistance potion just in case. I'm not really expecting to die here, but if I die and it happens to be vitality damage, I'm going to be quite upset. Anytime you have a death that could have been prevented, it's really frustrating in hardcore, at least for me. If you die and it was just like, you know, I just took too much damage, that's fine, I can deal with that. Okay, Rodalgar, the Flesh Collector. We have collected his flesh. And ordinarily I would run down into this bottom corner and show you the loot there, and yeah, I'm not doing that this time. Okay, so we'll leave the moaning ladies behind, and we'll head to Homestead. Now I'm going to see if my good friend Isaiah Redden is going to sell me a vitality resistance potion. If he does, then happy days, and I'll be on my way. Well, what do you know? Alright, winning. I was going to say, if he doesn't, then I'll just go and craft one, because I should already have the... yeah, I do. I was going to say, I should already have the blueprint. Oh, I've even got the sanctified bone that was required. Chthonic seal is not something... I mean, honestly, both of these are kind of expensive. So 3 vitality resistance potions is going to cost you 2 seals of binding at least, plus some other stuff. So I was very glad that the potion was just there, ready to go. I don't actually think Theodin does any vitality damage, but we're going to drink it anyway. I think Theodin's mostly Aether and Lightning. Anyway, resistances are all capped. Let's go kill ourselves a big ethereal. Here we go. Alright. Send the pets in. I'm going to park them right in front of him. Apparently I'm not. Anyway, that's fine. They're tearing him up pretty quickly. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. One day, my arrogance will kill me. Let's see if it's going to be today. All my pets ignoring all these things that they can actually kill in favor of attacking Theodin. Alright. He should go down pretty quickly. Boss damage is something we do very well with the Aether rubbish under the ground. Probably kill him pretty easily. He jumps up into the air, and you're going to want to not be there when he lands. But apparently he's just not going to do that this time. Okay, Heart of Theodin Marcell, this is his MI weapon. He'll drop it every time. And it gives you one of the game's item-based default attack replacers, which could be good if you're looking to do stuff with that. I'm not, so it's kind of whatever. 2 loots on that side and 1 loot on this side. First time you kill him, you get an extra loot. You get an extra one of these little sacks. You'll only get 1. Sorry, you'll only get 2 next time rather than 3. But that's okay, we're done. Alright, that is not the end of the Ashes of Malmouth expansion, although you could absolutely stop here. So the important things are you've killed Theodin, and your standing with the Malmouth resistance is revered. That's it. Effectively, this place is done. However, I accepted this quest here, and just leaving it sitting there is going to bother me. So I'm going to go do that. Also, you maybe are not quite as far along on the reputation front as I am. And so perhaps you're not revered yet. You've killed Theodin. You're not revered though. So maybe this is something you're going to want to do. The council themselves are not particularly dangerous. When they get low, they get some nice buffs. But they're not really all that dangerous. So we just pretty much walk in and kill them. As long as I don't start getting cocky and start trying to skip things, it should be fine. One fairly major downside, though, to the XP potions is they last for, what is that, an hour and a half? Something like that. I forget exactly how long. 3,600 seconds, which, if my maths is correct, is an hour. Don't quote me on that, because doing maths while recording is actually fairly stressful. There's a good chance that's not correct, but I think it's about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. The downside being, if I finish the video now and turn this off, which is not what I'm going to do, but if I did, then I've wasted most of an XP potion, which is most of 40,000 iron bits. So that is one thing I'm not the biggest fan of. Kind of feel forced to keep playing. Okay, that's alright. We're here for the council. So, the council themselves do have some drops. I think it's an Aether weapon, which should be able to drop, so fingers crossed it does actually drop. I believe there's a blue version as well. Don't quote me on that, I may be thinking of the boss of Port Valbury. But these guys do have a weapon. Draven... Is Draven Cole? It is Draven Cole. It's got his name on it. Hey, there's the Bone Scavenger's Death Grips, which, if you're playing along at home, are exactly what we need. And actually have a pretty good roll as well. 100% physical to vitality conversion for the pets is really good. I think this is the second time I found these gloves too. 43% acid to vitality is not amazing. I believe it's a 40 to 60% range. But 100% on physical is the main thing we want. The Blight Fiend is just there as a tank, and so having his damage not fully converted to vitality is not the end of the world. I am going to sell that because I have a bunch of them, but that would be a good drop if you can get it. Okay, let's push the buttons that make the pets kill things, and we will stack them all up on top of Alba and Rain, and then I'm going to get out of that stuff. Oops, I really got to move that button. Actually, let's just clear that. Okay, so as I mentioned, when these guys get low, they start getting those little crystals orbiting them. The crystals are from a different one of them's death, but when they get low, they get some damage absorption and such. No loot at all. Isn't that interesting? But any of the friends, say like all of these guys, are going to have those crystals orbiting around them. They're going to be considerably tougher. So you can see the 3 crystals. They're still dying pretty easily, shall we say. But it's an interesting fight. These crystals should trigger, I think, when they get low instead of when they die. Because by the time they die, they're just kind of... I mean, they can't take advantage of it, can they? Hey, there's Perdition. I haven't seen one of those for like a level and a half at least. I'm not playing a Perdition build, so of course they're everywhere. Actually, it hasn't been too bad this time. I might even use those, actually. Aether and Chaos. Maybe not. Maybe not. If I had a second piece of the set, I would definitely consider it. 2-piece Perdition is just amazing leveling gear. Any 2 pieces, as long as it's not the shield, is good. In my case, though, or in this character's case, rather, the helmet is 100% out. The chest is okay, but not great. The gloves are perfectly fine. You can use the gloves. Shoulders, same as the chest, is okay, but not great. And the shield is, again, kind of okay, but not great. The Flesh-Warped Archive is really good for getting a usable Hellhound without actually having to spend huge amounts of hard skill points on it. But we could kind of just not have the Hellhound be super useful and just have it as an aura bot. Okay, Council's dead. XP, we get the Mythical Will of Bismiel, which is not a bad ring. Or amulet, sorry. Actually, is that? Huh, how about that? Let's have a look. So this is not the one that I thought it was. I was thinking this was the one that gives you the healing ability. But this one is Chaos-themed pets, +1 to Occultist. Additional projectiles to Familiar is good. 100% chance to pass through enemies to Familiar is godlike. This makes the Familiar actually usable as a damage pet, especially if you had the Bismiel's Trinkets set that will give you a second Familiar. Having said that, I'm pretty sure that set uses the amulet slot, so maybe not. Yeah, this... I don't know why you would use this. Anyway, moving on. Master of Flesh is gone. We get another amulet. This one, I think we've seen this one before on this character, so I'm going to ignore that. And you know what? I don't care what your next move is because you've run out of quests. And so has this expansion. So, having said that, this is going to be the end of this episode. So next episode we'll be starting Forgotten Gods and the final little march towards the end of the game, or at least the end of the campaign and level 100. But yes, this is going to be the end of today, so thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.